Hello. So it's coming up to the end of February now, uh, and it was the start of this week. The new measures for coming out of lockdown were announced. That's coming in on the 8th of March. It's going to be a slow kind of release out of it, lockdown, but it's kind of the smart way about going it. Um, and I think it's frustrating how it's going, but I I feel kind of lucky to be in the situation I am. Um, because I'm not in my first year, but I'm also not in my last year either. And I think either of those have been massively disrupted, and that kind of ruined my experience if those were the cases. Um, I'm also not working abroad, um, and I have the ability to work from home, not to like the best ability I could do, but um, it's not been disrupted um, as much as other students' kind of daily lives have been. And I guess I'm kind of thinking that I brought that up because it's been on my mind, just like because I talked last time about my own productiveness, and I brought it up that I felt quite didn't feel very productive at the start of this year, at the start of this lockdown. um, and I think now I label it as unproductiveness, but at the time I was labeling it as I didn't have anything to do, and I think that was a massive kind of slump for me because I did just feel kind of quite just like done with it all. I felt quite at the time I was saying, "Oh, I've got no work to do, nothing really I can do." In fact, there was lots of stuff I could have been doing, and I was just kind of felt a little over it all. Um, yeah, I mean that slump's kind of gone now, but um, it's kind of reflecting back on this lockdown, and um, it wasn't. No one wanted this lockdown, and I think that was obvious from how I reacted from the start. Um, but I think that's got better, and with like renewed optimism about vaccines and um, cases going down and all that, that got better. Um, so yeah, that's kind of that. Um, so yeah, new kind of. So we're kind of coming out of it on the 8th, um, and yeah, month by month that's gonna with new things happening. Uh, so with me, I'm gonna try and get back to Portsmouth mid March, just because I think at this point I've been home 4 months almost. Well, would have been by about mid March, and I'm renting a property that I'm not living in. I'm paying rent. I'm paying bills and all that. So I just want to be back in Portsmouth, and but also I feel like it's kind of important for my role if I'm working in a role where I'm supporting people in Portsmouth, then I kind of should be there and to be able to understand the kind of situation and what's happening. Um, yeah, so that's what's happening there. Uh, I thought I'd also bring up um, so in every tutorial we had, and I mentioned my tutorial last time, but I get one of the things I didn't really cover too much were the goals we kind of review all the time, um, or the objectives. 5 objectives set at the start of the year. I said in December, I think it was, I'd achieved one of them, um, and that was kind of hard skills in the office and that kind of very kind of basic stuff that um, I'm still working on, but it's kind of all there now. Um, and so now I'm saying I've in the tutorial just gone, I've said I feel like I've completed 2 more, and I feel like they both kind of go hand in hand looking back at it now. And these are ones I'm still, none of my goals are, um, none of them uh, are I reach them and then that's it. They're all goals that I can reach, but then there's further I can go. So one of them was to gain experience in the third sector, understand how local government goes, and that kind of stuff, which I have been. I've started to understand a lot about commissioning, tendering, um, how local services are run, all about the different kind of services available, their relationships between like social care, governance, charities, and with the general public. And then so that's one I've said I've kind of completed, and that's just with kind of time and that, because I've experienced loads of different, these strange strategic meetings that I remember at first they seemed quite I'm not going to say boring because they weren't necessarily boring, but they were quite tedious and all that. But now I think now I'm kind of getting I'm starting to understand it all. So I said I've done that, and that was one of my objectives. And then the next objective I said is build contacts, kind of networking. Basically, that's it. And networking is going to be important in the future. If I want to find a job or kind of work on a project in Portsmouth, and I think I've been kind of doing this from even before I was doing my placement, because before I was already quite involved in the local community doing campaigning and all that, so I had already met quite a number of people. So continuing that onto my placement, these were more professionals that I was networking with. So of course there's everyone in my organisation, there's people on the council, there's people in other organisations, people in social care, people from the NHS, and yeah, so I've kind of said I've completed all this, and yeah, so that's the two I've kind of said I completed, and as I said, they both go hand in hand because in working with these people, you start to understand their organisations. You start to learn what their objectives are. You're able to see the similarities between what you're trying to achieve as well, and that's especially prominent when you're in strategic meetings with these different with people from all over the place: education, social care, council, the third sector. So you start to see the patterns and what people really want to achieve. Um, And I think I found that bit quite exciting working with um, different people, because I could have someone from a person who runs a Send Local Offer asked me to film them a video about a certain topic. Um, Now that's not necessarily a a Dynamite project, but overall it will it positively impacts us at Dynamite. Um, Another example is the work I'm doing with um, another information service. I'm not sure really how it's going at the minute. It's a bit rocky because of the COVID situation. Um, but our the main thing of what we're trying to achieve is not necessarily a benefit to Dynamite straight away, but over time it becomes, the idea was to bring more people in, which would really have been useful. So yeah, that's quite what I'm really enjoying, being able to work with all kinds of different people from everywhere. Um, and even if it's just kind of contributing in large strategic meetings, to be able to give my voice as a young person with a disability in their meetings is incredible, even if I'm not from Portsmouth myself. Yeah, what's else happening? I can't remember. I think I mentioned that we're going to have a professional talk about the COVID vaccine. We've got all that planned. That's going to be on the 12th of March, and yeah, I think that's going to be really good. Not only to inform people about the vaccine, um, which is really good. We'll be able to record that and share it. Be really good to. I think it'd be really good exercise to get people into Dynamite and get people to know about what we do and what we believe in as well. Um, so that's happening 12th of March. I'm trying my hand at TikTok with Dynamite. I think it's going okay. I've done a few videos so far. It's a um, bit of a weird world because unlike other social media, TikTok broad kind of posts to the whole world. So anybody could be seeing our content, and it's not necessarily, I don't know if anyone from Portsmouth is seeing it. Um, but my thought is the more people that see it, the more likely that is. We're using all the hashtags and that, so hopefully that kind of works out, and it's an avenue for us to be kind of more creative and for our members to share their creativity as well. So yeah, I'm seeing where that goes at a minute. Um, Pizza nights. Um, so what we've decided um, in a meeting. This wasn't even my idea. It was one of the young people's idea. That's what's great about Dynamite is it's the young people putting them ideas together. So originally my idea was we were gonna have a pizza night in March. Now the young people saw that as too soon. Um, so what we're doing instead is one of the young people had an idea for a pizza night in April. So I'm going to work with them on that, and that's going to be on kind of elections, how we're represented, kind of a whole parliamentary system, local government, how laws are made. So that's going to be really interesting because that's really up my kind of street, and so I think I'll be able to, you know, hopefully, despite my biases, hopefully I can kind of give good information on that and give my input as well. So that's going to be a pizza night in April. before the end date for registering to vote. Before that, in March, we're going to do a kind of smaller night, but not a pizza night. It's just going to be hasn't been decided yet, but it's going to just be a regular night for films. I don't think it's even going to be a film yet. It's going to be, so one of the things is going to be a short film. Should be really interesting to share. I'll talk about that more nearer the time. And I've got to figure out another one to share as well. And that's more just to keep things exciting within Dynamite, so it's not always quizzes. I wanted to do some kind of film video night before, so yeah, that should be really fun. What else? I think just generally things a bit more exciting within Dynamite. I got, a lot. I'm got a lot more to do. Social media is really. I think social media is really the platform that's really helped me keep going with everything. It's been somewhat of a motivator, I guess. I don't consider myself great at social media, but I think for Dynamite it's really useful. So that's kind of kept me going on all platforms as well. I've recently, picked up Twitter again, which has been better than expected. So yeah, positive things at the minute, and it's good to know that a lot of the projects within Dynamite are being funded for longer. So our neurodiversity project was originally going to end next month, but we had news that it's able to continue for a whole another year, which is great, and more work can be done on that, and it's amazing work as well that can go on with that. Yeah, and I mean, there's more funding available as well for Dynamite, and they're working on a tender at the minute, which is what is it, a tender? No, a bid. It's called a bid, and it's going to be for a older person's group to Dynamite and a youth project, a youth kind of group project, which is great for Dynamite because it means we can expand our reach as well. And these are all ideas that came from the young people in our group, which again is what's great about what we do. It's great about what we do, and it's great about what that's the great thing about what co-production is. So yeah, well, that's kind of what's happening at the minute. I'm quite excited to be going back to Portsmouth again. I think at that point I feel so much more productive with what's happening. But also like it's kind of weird because I'm seeing it as it's this March at the coming up to March at the minute. That leaves April, May, June, July. That's not long left. I haven't necessarily said when I'm finishing the Dynamite, but I have until I have a few months left until these official submissions. But I have the opportunity to work until December if I wanted, and I mean I'm always going to be around for Dynamite, but it's kind of weird because there doesn't feel like a lot of time left. I think in reality there's a lot more I want to do, and I just haven't been able to do a lot of it because of COVID and everything else that's happened. Well, not everything else, it's just been COVID. there's a lot of stuff I haven't been able to do because of COVID, and I think that was another thing that really got me down, and not down, but it really kind of hit me and just made me feel really unproductive. Um, yeah, I think that I think that's unfortunately that is the reality of life. Things are unexpected, and I have to be flexible with that. And to be honest, I think that flexibility has worked. And it's definitely worked better than a lot of other organisations have dealt with it. So yeah, that's I think that's everything. Yeah, I guess another point is I felt quite not point, but I felt I've been feeling very productive recently. Um, as my point on earlier about you know my use of social media and everything, that's really kind of boosted my productivity. I don't know why specifically social media has been involved in that, but I guess one of them is my information sharing, which is something we've been doing a lot with Dynamite, because we found young people have said that they found the information they're getting is very confusing. So we're doing a lot of information sharing, and I don't know why, but that's just made me feel really productive in what I'm doing. And I found that productivity strange because I'm also working weekends at my part-time job as well, which I have got to leave for in about half an hour. But yeah, that's another kind of strange productivity, and I guess it shows productivity isn't just it's very much a mood productivity. Because there's plenty of work around, but I've found productivity as a mood rather than what's actually there. Um, yeah, it's just a strange one reflecting back on my last video about productivity. But yeah, I'll get too deep. I'll leave it there. All right, see ya. Bye.